So this next part of the build of the Anet A8 i3 knockoff printer I got, it got lost. I made a live stream of it, and when the live stream finished, I had an error message on YouTube, and it never did come up on the account. So footage lost, that's a bummer. I thought I'd take you over to the machine and just show you what I did during this section of the build and give you some tips, because I did run into some problems during this stage. Also, you can see back here, that's part of the cabinet that I'm building, and that video is coming along, so you'll see that in the future too. So let's get over to the printer. Alright, here you can see the printer actually is working. We're making a baby Groot here. I've already made his head, came out amazing. So if you are thinking of getting one of these printers, I can tell you that it's a pretty capable machine once you get things dialed in. The last video basically revolved around this. Putting these pieces on, the guide rods, screw rods, and the cross rods. These went on without any problem. Down here there's a coupler off of the step motor. I had to move this one up a little bit because it was too far down. There are little grooves cut, a spiral cut in these couplers that gives it a little flex. So you don't want the two bars to come down and touch each other, because you want to have that little bit of flex so that this isn't totally rigid, I guess, when you put it in there. At least that's what I'm guessing. So it's just a couple Allen wrench screws. I loosen them up, put them in there, and it seems to be working fine. On the other side, you do the exact same thing. I got a bit of a squeak in that one, but you know, I'll work that out soon enough. This is where I had the biggest problem. You can see there's a couple holes over here where you put the rods in. And those rods just did not fit through those holes. And the smart thing to do would have been to take this piece off and put the rods through, you know, on my workbench or something, because I had to take that mallet and just bang them like crazy. So it would have been smart to take that off and do it, but instead, of course, I didn't do the smart thing, and I left it on the machine, and I just wailed on it to get it through there. And the whole machine started shaking like crazy. Nuts and bolts came off, no joke. Things came loose, so I had to go back over the whole thing and tighten stuff up. Not a big deal, but a little frustrating. But that's the only part that really didn't seem to fit as well as it was supposed to. The rest of it went together okay. Again, I've said it a lot. Nothing has been difficult with this build. It's just really time consuming. To be honest with you, these white pieces over here, I'm probably going to reprint them. Not so much for performance, but I just have a black and orange thing going on here. So someday I'll probably replace these. I think some of them have a belt tensioner built into them too. I know I can print a belt tensioner that will work with what's already here. But so once the rods were in, you put the printer head on. There's a couple more of those bearings I showed you in the other video. The belt wraps around a couple bolts that stick out the back. You kind of lock a bolt in with a couple nuts, and then you wrap it around and just zip it up with some zip ties. You need to make sure that there's some tension on there. It's not super tight, but you know, you saw it's got some flex to it. But I'm probably going to replace those belts too, and print a better holder back there sometime. I did put on the X and Y end stops. That's another thing you have to do. I can't remember if that was on a previous video or not. So you might see some of the modifications I've already made. I got others that have printed and are waiting for a future video. But really, that was it. Again, it was just time consuming. Nothing too difficult. That was probably 30-40 minutes, the last video that got lost, and that's what I got accomplished. So the next video that you see will actually be the final one of the build, where I'll basically be done, short of getting all the wiring taken care of. So, yeah, thanks for watching.